Yo, what is up, guys? Boris here, coming to you guys with a YouTube video. Oh my god, Boris is just kidding. It's been a few days since I did one. Today we are here on stream. The chat is requesting so much that I give you guys a few legend guides. So here we're gonna go ahead and do Inuarashi, Duke Dogstorm. If you guys watch the dub or whatever, this guy is a beast. One of the ones that I wanted to pull. And as you can see right off the bat, I went ahead and put out a real good example of the damage you can deal with this character right off the bat. I'm going to walk you through step by step on the team, but here's an example just so you can sort of see and visualize the kind of damage you're going to be doing with these teams. So to start off, let me go ahead and explain to you what he does, because he is one of the newer legends, so even I had a bit trouble remembering what he did. So he's going to boost the attack of Cerebral characters by 2.75. Let me move it down a little bit. And he also boosts the chain by 1.5. But the trick is you have to be below 30% at the start of the turn to do that, okay? And then also, looks like normally he boosts the attack of Cerebral characters by 2.5. So it looks like normally the 2.5 captain that can go up to 2.75 and a 1.5 chain multiplier booster if you're below 30. So if you remember, that's very similar to Crocodile's special. Crocodile did something very similar, where if he's, the lower HP, the more damage he does. So very similar. If you've played with Crocodile, you sort of understand the idea behind it. However, here is the trick. The reason that this guy is so good is because in the past you would need a certain character to get you below 20% wherever you want it to be. In that case, you would need the Robin. You would need to bring 3D2Y Robin to get you to 1 HP. However, in this case, the character already does that for you with his special. So his special is reduce the crew's current HP by 80%. So immediately you're put into that range. So right off the bat, you got your captain ability boost. Also does massive damage to one enemy. And then for one turn, he is a raid boss Sabo effect. So that every character that hits gets an additional 80 times his attack added to their attack. So to give you an example, I'm going to take away all the boosts. And I put 100 cotton candy on him, 100 attack cotton candy, so you can see how much it affects it a little bit. So normally this is the damage you would be doing. This is with all matching orbs, right? But if we go ahead and activate his special, as you can see, you get around 8 to 900,000 damage boosted just off his special alone. And that is, depending on how much cotton candy you have. Now, that's a very good special. Do not underrate it, because it's really nice whenever a certain boss will lower your attack, or you can only attack with certain characters, and maybe you're silenced or whatever. That will add a lot of damage in those cases. So keep that in mind too. Let me see. What else? So that's really good. So right off the bat, his captain ability gets boosted by his special, which is good, and he has a Sabo-like special, which is really powerful. Okay. And we're going to combine that with, of course, Dofi. Dofi 2x orb booster. Let's go ahead and see how much damage that does. Pretty good. Hopefully by now you've pulled Dofi. He's one of the sort of staple legends. Goes on a lot of teams, but especially in this one, because remember, it's a Cerebral team, so it's going to be really important on this team. Now, next up, guys, is Wanda. Now, Wanda is a character from the Zoe batch, just recently came out. What she does is she's actually a 1.75 type booster to Cerebral units for 3 turns. So that's pretty insane. On top of that, she also changes all your orbs into strength, dex, quick, and or size. So she makes them all to colored orbs. You might think that's a bad thing, but I'm about to show you why that's a good thing. But keep in mind, it's a 1.75 boost for 3 turns. And then we're going to go ahead and pop Sicilian special. Sicilian, what he does is he delays enemies for 1 turn, so he's a delayer, and he changes all of the colored orbs into matching orbs for Cerebral characters. So if you have Wanda and Sicilian, all of a sudden you have all matching orbs with a 1.75 boost for 3 turns. That's pretty insane if you ask me, okay? That is pretty insane. Now finally, because Sicilian is a delayer, that means that you can throw on Momonga against anyone you can delay, and all of a sudden you got Momonga there, boosting your damage by 1.5 for 2 turns, and you're dealing crazy damage. There you go. Now, I don't think I can do both of those. So yeah, and again, this is assuming you're below, you're gonna be below 20 at that point. So that's pretty insane. Definitely a very powerful legend. Just this is a pretty basic team, with what you would run. Definitely free-to-play friendly. Yeah, this is definitely not the most free-to-play friendly legend out there. Cerebral characters, some of the best tend to be rare recruits. Let's go ahead and change things up a bit. Let me show you a few other possible combinations that you could use, because there's still some very powerful units out there. So let's say that you're dealing with a boss that you can't delay. Well then, you're gonna maybe switch him over for Tashigi. Let me see, rare recruit Tashigi. Now, you do lose a lot of damage from Mamanga. You're still dealing like over 3 million, pretty much 4 million and up. However, Tashigi's special boosts the color affinity of slashers and Cerebral by 1.5 for 2 turns. So in theory, against certain types of bosses, look at this, you're getting into the 8 million range against certain types, and even you know, you got 6 million against yellow. So you know, you will lose out on in some colors like blue, but for the most part, you know, do that. Also, yeah, people are telling me to put 100 attack candy on him, because a lot of people do have 100 attack candy on Dofi, so I'll go ahead and do that as well, just so you guys can, you know, maybe see a little bit of a difference there. So we're here almost hitting 9 million. Okay, so this is a lot of damage, and this is against a character that doesn't even, you can't even delay, you know, so that's a lot. Normally you don't hit these numbers like that. And this is for 1 turn. Then the next turn we would have pretty much a similar thing, although you would lose your matching orbs. But if you didn't use Don Quixote, then you would still do, you know, well, pretty much 3 to 4 million range there. Pretty good. However, you don't want to be doing that. And there's also some other possibilities as well. Yeah, and by the way, keep in mind, if you have him, he's a great sub as well for slasher teams, because like I said, that Sabo special is really useful, very unique. There's only a few characters in the game. The only other one I can think of is the Koala from the Fortnite that have this type of special, but this multiplier is really strong. And then the next, remember, this only for 1 turn, unlike Sabo's for 2 turns, but you have 2 Dogstorms, so you can do one turn, and you can do the other turn. Okay. Now, yeah, let's say you didn't pull these guys because, like, for instance, I don't have them. I didn't really get. I only have 1 character from the Zo batch. So another possibility someone suggested in chat is that we put in, instead of Sicilian, we can put in Robin. We got the 32Y Robin in here. And then we put in Crocodile. We could put in Crocodile. If you need a 1-turn burst, we could do something like this. Legend Crocodile. If you remember, his special will boost by 2 times if you're below 30%, and then you can delay. But however, I think a better combo would probably be, what's his name? Legend, oh no, X-Drake, right? Pop X-Drake. Because this way, X-Drake, if you're below 30%, changes your adjacent orbs to matching. So this is all matching orbs with a 2 times orb booster, 2 times tie booster, and a color affinity booster. Yeah, so now you're hitting up to almost 10 million against Dex. So, and this is against an enemy, again, an enemy you can't even delay. So I'm talking about invasions and all that stuff. So this is pretty insane. Yeah. Now, it gets even crazier. Like someone said, we can take out the Dogstorm. You'll really only need 1 if you want to get below that threshold. Or you can change this out for Mamanga. No, but then it doesn't have a delayer. It doesn't delay. So what else can we do? Let me see. Because then at this point we don't have a delayer, so there's no point in putting Mamanga in here. But yeah, you can use someone else as a sub. Let me see. The problem is, let's just put in Robin. Let's put in Robin, I guess. Let's put in 3D2Y Robin to get us to 1 HP, and then we can put in Mamanga in here. This will boost it, I believe. Let's see how much. So we're at 1 HP now, and we're gonna pop Mamanga, it's a Crocodile, 2-time multiplier, and Inuarashi. Okay, so now this is a lot of damage. You're dealing over 8 million to every character there. That is a lot of damage. So, 2 for X-Drake. The problem is you need matching orbs. You do want to have matching orbs. You don't want to miss out. So with only 1 Dofi, it's tough to get matching orbs. So yeah, it's a lot of damage. You're dealing over 8 million to every single class. That's pretty insane. That is pretty insane. Yeah, I mean, if you want to go even crazier, say you're facing a green boss or something, then you could trade him out for Tashigi again. Go back to Tashigi. And activate Tashigi. Yeah. And now you're dealing even more damage. So now you have everyone's special active here. The problem is, you probably will not have orbs on these. Let me see. This one, or this one. So in case you're facing a blue boss, you want to deal 10 million to a blue boss, you can do it this way, guaranteed 10 million damage. You can also switch these if you need to. So you do have that as an option as well. Yeah. Invasion Shanks if you have Sicilian too. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's true. If you don't want to run Dofi, you could run Invasion Shanks. So Shanks will actually is also 2x orb booster, and he makes tandem and what's his name? We can run Sicilian. Sicilian makes colored orbs matching, and he makes tandem and meat orb matching, so that makes all orbs matching. The layer from a manga. However, the problem is now you don't really have. I mean, you don't get the full. You're not going to be guaranteed at 1 HP. You're going to be below 20, but not 1 HP. But yeah, you have a lot of possible combinations with these teams, so that is really cool. And keep in mind, yeah, you do. Robin does lock orbs, so then you would have a second turn. However, this would pretty much burst all in one turn. But yeah. So yeah, Dogstorm. Oh, let me put an orb on Dogstorm, I guess. Yeah, and you might have 100 attack on Croc as well. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, this is a crazy team. I really want to get him because he seems very OP. He seems very OP. I mean, if I could choose, I'd probably run him. The problem is I don't have the Zobash either. So if with the units I have, I would probably go with. Let's see. Let's put Dofi in here, and next Drake, I guess. So here goes something like this. Do a lot of damage. Something like this, and then yeah, put in 100 candy on him. Put in 100 candy on him. Oops. Yeah, you're looking at a lot of damage. And the next turn, you got another Inuarashi you can pop. So yeah, especially if Crocodile ever gets a 6-star plus, it's gonna be even better for sure. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this guide for Inuarashi. This guy is a beast. I'm really hoping the Poolin is one of my most wanted legends. It's really showing that they're upping the bar on these guys. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Until then, peace.